Hey, so today in class we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Some of it was a little bit crazy, some of it was a little more tactile and grounded. But the essential kind of thing that we were talking about is the relationship between things that we know and things that we are guessing at. So we don't know much. As Mary Jane Creek used to say, there are two types of information in the world. There is data and then there is religion, meaning that there's this recording of something and then anything that we derive meaning from that recording becomes religion because we are guessing things, we're guessing about it. And that means that when we guess at things, we're kind of like inserting our own bias, whether that be racial bias or privilege or whatever it may be. We have, as human beings, are kind of adding a meaning or guessing, inserting meaning where there is none. So just let's think about really quickly what we talked about. Data in and of itself doesn't mean anything. It is a recording. It is a recording of an infinite number of variables at any given moment, and it is a recording in time. That is it. So if I'm writing down a state time or a measurement or sketching something or writing down a yes or a no, whatever it may be, I am never actually answering a question. I am never actually recording a time. What I'm doing is measuring a myriad variables. And when I try to say that that recording is of an actual specific event, the first thing I'm doing is lying a little bit and saying, wow, it's a real recording of this event and not a measurement of all these other things, which is problematic because oftentimes it is a measurement of something that you thought you were recording, and oftentimes it's more of a measurement of something that you didn't know you were recording, as was the case with our paper today. So anytime I try to say that two data points are connected, so let's say something happened 1 second ago and then something happens 10 seconds from now, and I say, and let's say that thing is a person was running at 3 miles an hour. Anytime I try to derive a pattern from that, so I say the person was running at 3 miles an hour first, and then a minute later, 3 miles an hour, and then I say the person is running or was running at 3 miles an hour. Now I'm extrapolating, meaning I'm guessing what they were doing at all the points in between the two data points that I suggested they were running in between. I add another layer of guessing when I say not only was the person running 3 miles an hour in the past, but if they run again, they will run at 3 miles an hour. But the cool kind of thing about that guess is what happens when you're right. So if you test something, if you use it to guess the future, which is theoretically unpredictable, and it turns out that you're right or close, it lends a high level of probability that your theory, whatever you're thinking about, in this case, that the person is running at 3 miles an hour or only can run at 3 miles an hour, is correct. So we have the data, we have the meaning of the data, we have the pattern that we derive from the data, which explains the past. Then we have the idea that we kind of extrapolate into the future. So we take our pattern that described the past. That person ran at 3 miles an hour. If they run again, they are again going to run at 3 miles an hour. And then we ask why they might run at 3 miles an hour, which is like the most biasy type thing that we are going to suggest, that we're going to talk about. It's so biasy in science that people generally say you can't back that up at all unless you run a whole nother experiment. So two data points, 0, 1 minute. They were running 3 miles an hour at 0. They were running 3 miles an hour at 1 minute. I'm going to guess over time, like in the past, when they were running 3 miles an hour between 0 and 1 minute. I'm going to guess if they extrapolate this into the future because they were running at 3 miles an hour every time I measured them. Anytime they run, they're going to run at 3 miles an hour. And I might guess that the reason that they're running at 3 miles an hour, which seems a little bit odd, is that they're actually standing on a treadmill that is running at 3 miles an hour. That would be a real big guess as to why my future prediction, my future guess, might occur. Good luck on this homework assignment, and yeah, that's it. That's